Alright, problem 122. Let's see if you got it correct. I looked to see if there's a GCF. There's not. It's already equal to 0, so I've solved that problem. This is a perfect square, but that one's not, so it's not a PST. So it looks like a trix. I do two parentheses. X and X, two numbers that multiply to give me 10, that add to give me 7. 1 and 10 won't do it. 2 and 5 will. To get a positive 7, they both have to be positive. I now have two baby equations. I set each baby equation equal to 0. And if you want to do these in your head, you can. Some of you will be able to see that it's just the opposite. Move the 2 over and I get x equals negative 2. Move the 5 over and I get x equals positive 5. And I write my I messed up. If I was in class, Chloe would be telling me, Miss Wood, you messed up. You said they were both positive and you didn't write they were both positive. So let's fix that. We move the 5 over to the other side, we get a negative 5. So my two answers are negative 2 and negative 5. Make sure you fixed Miss Wood's typo. To get a positive 7, it has to be a positive 2 and a positive 5. And then when we solve the baby equations, we end up with a negative 2 and a negative 5. Okay, let me show you exactly what this means. If you take a negative 2 and plug it back in this equation, negative 2 squared plus 7 times negative 2 plus 10 equals 0? Question mark. Negative 2 squared is 4. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. 4 minus 14 is negative 10. Negative 10 plus 10 equals 0. Check. It works. Now let's check negative 5. Negative 5 squared plus 7 times negative 5 plus 10 equals 0? Question mark. Negative 5 squared is positive 25. A negative times a negative is a positive. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35 plus 10. 25 and 10 is 35. Minus 35 is 0. So they both work. So that's how you can check. You plug it in, and see if it's true. Okay. Now I want to do one where it's not equal to 0, where we've got a little bit more work to do. So look with me at problem 128. So the problem is 4k squared minus 20k plus 10 equals negative 6. I can't do anything until the problem is equal to 0. So I need to move that negative 6 over to this side by making it positive 6. And now I have it equal to 0. So now I need to try to factor it. So the first thing that I need to do to factor it is look and see, is there a GCF? Is there? 4 goes into all of them. If I pull a 4 out of 4k squared, I'm left with k squared. A 4 out of negative 20k leaves me with negative 5k. A 4 out of 16 leaves me with 4. Now, let me let you in on a little secret. That 4 does not have a variable. So it doesn't make an answer. You only get answers when you have variables. The 4 doesn't have a variable, so there's no answer generated by it. So that should tell you, if you had this same problem, but instead of everything having a GCF of 4, if everything had a GCF of 5, or everything had a GCF of 6, this part would stay the same. That part wouldn't matter, and you would always get your same answers from here. So just remember, if it doesn't have a variable, there's not going to be an answer. Okay? So that 4 doesn't play any role in my problem from here on out. Now I look at this. It's a trix. Some of you might say, well, it's a PST. That's a square and that's a square. Well, k and 2, multiply them. That's 2k doubled doesn't give me 5k. So this is not a PST, it's a trix. So I put a k there and a k there. two numbers that multiply to give me 4 but add to give me 5. Well, 1 and 4, 2 and 2, the ones that add to give me 5 are 1 and 4. To get a negative 5, they both have to be negative. If you have one of each, it'll make a 3 because you'd be subtracting. If it says adding here, they're either both positive or both negative depending on the middle. So here they're both negative. Now I don't care if you write the 4 down there because we are not factoring, we're solving by factoring. So we have two baby equations. K minus 1 equals 0 means that K must be 1, and K minus 4 equals 0 means that K must be 4. Write them in brackets. Let's check them. Okay, so let's check 1 back in the original. 4 times 1 squared minus 20 times 1 plus 10 equals question mark negative 6. 1 squared is 1. You do order of operations, so you do exponents first. 1 squared is 1 times 4 is 4. 20 times 1 is 20. 4 minus 20 is negative 16 plus 10 is negative 6. Negative 6 equals negative 6. Check. It works. Now let's try 4. So everywhere there's a K, I plug in a 4. And I put a question mark until I know it's true. 4 squared is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. 4 squared is 16. 16 times 4 is 64. 20 times 4 is 80, and that's a minus. 64 minus 80 is negative 16. Plus 10 is negative 6. Negative 6 equals negative 6. Check. It works. So you got it equal to 0 by moving that. You factored by GCF first and then by tricks. The GCF part didn't have an X, so there's no answer. The tricks part broke out into two baby equations. You solved each baby equation, and I put my answers in braces, and then I checked it. Okay, I would like you now to stop the video, and I would like you to try on your own problem number 129. So please, on your own, try problem 129 and then come back to the next video to see the answer.